Yo, back with another video. I wish it was under better circumstances, but I'm in the right state of mind now. I had to take a couple of days to get over that debacle on Thursday night football that we're going to discuss here on this video. There's so many things to unpack. As usual, everybody jumped onto Twitter or whatever social platform they enjoy using, and I'm not saying that he doesn't, but a lot of people are putting this game solely on Derek Carr. And yeah, he deserves some of the blame. In fact, he takes that sack in the red zone before the half, I believe it was, and the Raiders end up kicking a field goal. Let's say that happens, they win that game. But he was trying to throw the ball in the end zone, and he did get his offensive lineman pushed into him. But I still say he would have been better off taking the sack, obviously, and kicking the field goal. But, it didn't turn out that way. Next on the list, Josh McDaniels. Same thing that's been happening all season long. And that is starting out good in the first half and forgetting to call the right plays in the second half. In fact, I heard something along the lines of Derek Carr only threw 7 passes in the second half. And it goes back to a point, I've heard some other people talking about this, but apparently, and I may think there's some validity to this, but it looks like Josh McDaniels may not trust his quarterback. With that also being said, it boggles my mind, because if he doesn't trust his quarterback, how is he going to use Davante Adams, which they should have used more in the second half? And he may have been double covered, but guess what? You still got to throw it up and give him a shot every once in a while. It's just a shame that trading that first round pick for Davante Adams and giving him the contract that he wanted in Green Bay with the Raiders, we choose not to use him in moments that we should. And it's not just in this game. We have several other instances we can go back to in games that the Raiders lost that Davante Adams was not used in the second half, if at all, because there are some games he wasn't even used in the first half either. That's a common theme throughout the season. Next on the list, the defense. Now granted, they played really good up until about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And that last drive, now to their credit, I was screaming at the TV that night with all those holding calls that were missed on Max Crosby on that final drive. But outside of that, they unraveled. You had Jerry Tillery slapping the ball out of Baker Mayfield's hand. You had Max Crosby with the offsides, and they couldn't stop anything. And then you have, Sam Webb on that last play in single coverage. Now, I do believe the Raiders had 2 timeouts when that last drive was happening with the Rams. And I could be wrong. Maybe they called one, maybe they didn't. But if they didn't, I kind of look at that almost, in basketball, for example, when you got one team that's making a run and all the momentum swinging with that team, and the coach says timeout and he has a conversation with his group. I thought Josh McDaniels should have done that. Stop the momentum while you can, call the timeout, get you guys regrouped. Now, the Rams, of course, was running a lot of no huddle, but we also didn't help them by getting these penalties on the last drive. And I said to myself, as soon as the offense had that 3 and out, really also, let's kind of go back to that as well. because it was 4th and 1. And I thought that with the game on the line and pretty much the season, now they still have a small chance, but you know, with the game on the line and pretty much the season, with that 4th and 1, McDaniels should have opted to go for it. The Rams had already scored previously, and giving the ball back to them, the momentum was starting to swing on their side. You know, even, for example, let's say you don't get the 4th and 1, you give it back to the Rams, they end up scoring, you get the ball back, you're at least giving yourself a chance to try and go back and score, even though I'm not so sure trusting McDaniels in these situations because he obviously makes bad decisions in pressure moments. But I thought the Raiders would have been better off if they went for it on that 4th and 1 and just took their chances with letting the Rams score. At least you would have had a little bit of time on the clock so you could make something happen, opposed to relying on your defense, watching them unravel. Now, we didn't know that they would unravel, but, you know, getting all these penalties, kind of going back to that, we basically helped the Rams win that game. And we could sit here and talk about these missed calls that should have happened. I recall at least 3 plays on that last drive that they were holding Max Crosby, and they did not throw a flag. Looking at the entire game, the blame goes to Derek Carr, Josh McDaniels, Patrick Graham, Jerry Tillery. Max was having a good night, and he normally doesn't jump off sides. But on that last drive, you know, it did hurt us. That's just a fact. Now, the Raiders are currently in the hunt, I guess you can say. They need some things to happen. Right now, as we speak, the Patriots and the Cardinals are on, and we need the Patriots to lose tonight, so we'll see how that goes. The Chargers ended up winning last night. We needed them to lose to the Dolphins. Gotta hope the Chargers can lose at least 2 of the next 4 games. I looked at their schedule. I can see maybe the Titans. Outside of that, I'm not sure. I mean, they have a pretty easy schedule. You never know with the Chargers. One week they look pretty good. The next week they don't look so good. So we'll see about them. I said it on the last video, but this sort of reminds me a little of last season where the Raiders had to win 4 straight games in order to get into the playoffs. To have any sort of chance, and shout out to Mitchell Renz of the Raiders Report. He actually got this via the New York Times, and it said basically if the Raiders win their last 4 games, they have a 57% chance of getting in the playoffs. They've won 3 in a row so far this year. I'm talking about at one point during the season. Before last week, they had rode a 3-game winning streak. This week is the Patriots, then it's the Steelers, and then after that it's going to be the 49ers, who we still got to see, you know, if they rest players or not. If not, you know, that's going to be a tough out. And then you got the Chiefs. Same thing applies to the Chiefs. However, if we play the Chiefs the same way we played them in the first game, this time closing the deal, not taking your foot off the pedal, then they might have a chance to beat the Chiefs regardless if they're playing or sitting their starters. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't want to make this a long, drawn-out video. I just wanted to come on here, you know, vent a little bit. I hope Raider Nation is doing well. Hope everybody's having a great holiday. And until next time, I'm out.